Good afternoon, Ospreys. You're watching Nest News live from the Student Union. I'm Kaylee Snyder.
And I'm Austin Thielen. Coming up in today's show, a proposed bill would introduce concealed carry on college campuses.
UNF loses a $7 million grant.
Room selections for current UNF students.
Ways to eat healthy.
And a recap of the newly admitted student fair.
And of course, we actually have a sports update for you this time.
Yeah, we do. And of course, your weekly weather update. So stay tuned and enjoy the show. Earlier this week, a new bill was proposed to allow concealed carry on college and university campuses across the state. The proposed legislation, Senate Bill 814, states a person may carry a firearm on the property of any college or university, including but not limited to any dormitory or residence hall owned or operated by a college or university, and in any other location he or she is legally authorized to do so. Florida State Senator Randy Fine argues that the bill is necessary to protect students following the October 7th attack on Israel, stating, adults should have the right to protect themselves on campus, particularly after so many universities across America chose to protect Muslim terror advocates over their own students. There is no magic force field that keeps criminals from carrying a gun on a campus. This bill will ensure that students have the same rights on campus as they do off. With the bill now proposed, it will undergo an extensive legislative approval process before it can become law. If approved, implementation could begin as soon as next year.
On Monday, February 17th, the Department of Education announced a $600 million cut in grants for organizations that train teachers because the department claims that they promote diverse concepts. As a result, the University of North Florida lost a $7 million grant for their prep program made to combat the teacher shortage. In an email sent to faculty from Dean Stephen Ditmore, confirming the grant termination from the Department of Education, Ditmore shared, "We deeply appreciate the dedication of prep staff and students and their commitment to advancing education professionally. We are working toward identifying creative solutions to continue growing quality teacher candidates for our Northeast Florida partners." The Trump administration is also giving K-12 schools and colleges 2 weeks to eliminate diversity initiatives or risk losing federal money. The Education Department is requiring that schools do not use racial preferences as a factor for admissions and financial aid. Stay tuned for more updates as this story develops.
Housing contracts for current UNF students begin room selections on March 3rd. If you have yet to fill out your housing contract, you are still able to do so, but your room selection date might be later. Honor students are currently, a few technical difficulties here. Give us a few seconds. Honor students are able to submit a housing contract to the new honors dorm that is currently in construction. According to Housing and Residence Life, it will be ready for students fall of 2025. Out of the 520 bed spaces, half of those beds will be for current UNF students, while the other half of the beds will be reserved for incoming freshmen. For current UNF students, the March room selection timeline is applicable. Room selections for incoming freshmen, however, will be at a later time during the summer.
Going to the grocery store may seem difficult with rising prices. Alexander Jenkins tells us about ways you can save money and eat right.
As food costs continue to rise, it may seem difficult to find affordable, healthy options, but there are ways to eat right and save money. With the cost of products rising, students may be leaning towards short-term and cheaper options.
I think everyone is being affected by increasing grocery prices right now, but especially as a student that may or may not have extra financial means, you may be leaning towards stuff that only costs maybe less than $10 versus something that might cost, $20.
I went to Aldi on February 17th, where a dozen eggs cost $5.47. While this may seem daunting, there are alternatives that can replace more expensive products.
There may be a pivot towards other protein sources. So if eggs are getting a little bit out of your budget, maybe doing Greek yogurt for protein in the morning, or maybe trying some vegetarian protein options, maybe a tofu black bean taco for breakfast. It's a little bit different than what you might be used to, but it's still possible. But like I said, the grocery prices are definitely affecting everyone. But if we can get creative with maybe the types of recipes that we're making, then we can definitely still get adequate nutrition.
There are also resources on campus that can help students, such as Lend-A-Wing or dietitians at the Wellness Center. When going shopping, you can also use the plate method to make sure you're meeting your nutritional needs. For now, Alexander Jenkins, Spinnaker TV.
When you're shopping, remember to buy products based on your needs.
Incoming and prospective UNF students were able to meet fellow freshmen this past Monday, February 17th. These new students were able to introduce themselves to their fellow cohort members and share why they decided to go to UNF. Samantha Atlin, an incoming kinesiology major, said she loved UNF so much that it was the only school she applied to. She is fully committed to the school and has a pending housing application currently with another prospective student, Sarah Johnson, a soon-to-be biomedical science major. Potential UNF students were able to introduce themselves and were able to get housing information along with Greek life, counseling opportunities, and advising services at the resource fair. Soon after the fair, many joined on a UNF tour to get more of their questions answered. If you or someone you know is interested in applying or finding out the next steps after being admitted, be sure to go to the UNF Office of Admissions website.
Austin, I think we've been missing something these past few weeks, but I can't put my finger on what it is.
I think we have too. And, you know, we have weather every week.
We do have weather every
week. We've got
week.
the new zine, as you all can see, that are found in the blue boxes around campus.
Yes, that was introduced last week. We've been here almost every week.
You know what it is? It has to do with the basketball game right now. It's Sports Update. We've been missing our weekly Sports Update, but it's back. We have your weekly weather and sports updates every week. So we got the duo together. So yeah, let's go over to your.
We finally have a sports update for you, so let's get to it.
Update.
Hello everyone, I am Ryan Luke, and let's get right into this week's sports update. The men's basketball team took on Central Arkansas in Conway on Saturday night and dropped the game 84-83 in overtime. The Ospreys started off quick, jumping out to a 17-point halftime lead, but failure to score on 3 attempts in the last 30 seconds of regulation while the game was tied ultimately led to the loss. They now sit at 13-14 on the season and 6-8 in ASUN play. On the women's basketball side, the Ospreys took on JU in the River City Rumble this past weekend. Similar to the men's team, they took a lead into halftime up 32-28 before JU eventually pulled away, winning 64-53. This loss means the Ospreys are still searching for their first win in conference play as they sit at 0-14. On the baseball front, UNF hosted their first series of the 2025 season against Notre Dame. The Fighting Irish took games 1 and 2, but in game 3, UNF snagged its first victory of the season 8-1 behind a strong performance on the mound by Will Ross in a 5-run 5th inning, spurred by a Mitchell Collins 2 RBI single. The softball team had a strong weekend as well, winning 4 of its 5 games at the UNF-JU Invitational, with the only loss being by 1 run against UConn. The story of the 4 victory was that Ospreys bullpen, as they only gave up a combined 3 runs through 27 innings. They now sit at 10-3 on the season and are poised to be a contender in the ASUN. Last night's River City Rumble matchup in the Nest brought all the stars out as Jacksonville Jaguar players Josh Hines-Allen and Foyesade Lucan were courtside to see your UNF Ospreys take down bitter rival JU 77-73. A game of runs, the Dolphins stormed back from an early 9-point deficit in a flurry of UNF threes to take a 35-34 halftime lead. The Ospreys controlled the game in the second half, however, as Josiah Miles and Jalen Smith's offensive prowess down the stretch helped to hold off a late charge from Robert McCray and Kendall Munson. The Ospreys can get the brooms out as this locked in a sweep of the Dolphins, and they look to finish ASUN play strong with only 2 games left. That's all I have for you guys today. See you next time.
Well, I'll tell you what, that basketball game last night was awesome.
It was so fun.
Awesome.
We went.
We had the whole news crew there.
Yeah, or at least almost the whole news crew. We had
Almost.
our whole gang there, all of our friends.
That was a close game.
It was a really close game. It was so good.
It was very fun.
It was so much fun.
But
it was
I
actually
will
my
say-
first UNF basketball
Was
game.
it really?
Yeah, I
Really?
haven't been able to make it to one, but I'm glad that was my first one.
Wow, yeah, that was a good game. That was a good game, and I'll tell you
it
what,
was
we're
so
gonna beat
good.
JU next year.
We're gonna have another clean sweep next year. Don't y'all worry.
But
Calling
it
it out.
was absolutely freezing when we walked out of the stadium last night.
It
and
was.
again
And when
this
we
morning.
walked in, I was like walking over there from like the Fine Arts building. It was so
It
cold.
was so cold, and I know so we're doing things a little different this week. We actually are doing a little takeover of weather. So
Taking over. This is the weather, but it's Kaylee and Austin
it's
edition.
Kaylee and Austin edition. We're doing a little tie over here.
So kick us off.
I
What
will
is going to
kick
be
us
the
off.
weather this week, Austin?
Well, this weekend temperatures are going to be lower, and Saturday and Sunday will be mostly cloudy. The lows of this week will dip into the 40s. Monday and morning it will be cloudy, and there is a 24% chance of rain on Monday.
And on Tuesday and Wednesday, it's going to be sunny with warmer temperatures of 73 and 75. But on Thursday, it will be partly cloudy with a high of 77 and a low of 49. So make sure you're keeping those jackets out because we're going to have a little bit more cold weather coming towards us. It's not quite summer yet.
Not quite summer yet. We got 6-week winter, according to Puxatawny Phil, about a couple weeks ago. So
And the groundhog doesn't lie.
he doesn't lie. And so enjoy the fireplaces and s'mores while you can.
Exactly.
And I think, that's just about all we have for you today, Ospreys.
Remember, consider donating to support college media at UNF through the link in the description below.
And for all things Spinnaker, always remember to check out our website at unfspinnaker.com.
Also, make sure to follow us on our Instagram at UNF for more content. And we usually say we're going to see you next week, but we're actually not
We
going to
are
be
not.
seeing you next week. We'll be seeing you the week
following
after
week.
that. You get a little break from us.
So hopefully you all stay warm and have a great week next week. And
we will
catch
see
up
you very
afterwards.
soon on Spinnaker's Nest News.
Swoop.